We're back live. It's our normal Friday conservative moms unfiltered podcast.
Great.
This is home because of hurricane edition.
Yes, it is very windy.
What? I mean, we were supposed to meet up this morning at our studio coffee warehouse. But trees are down everywhere, power is out, like people are,
Yeah.
I mean, you would have thought that Florida, the Gulf where you were at the other day, didn't get anything, and here
No,
we
where I
are.
was got nothing. I mean, obviously they got
Yeah,
a lot more, but in a
that's
gray.
crazy.
Yeah.
We have like trees down everywhere. Our trampoline flipped to the
Oh,
neighbors.
wow.
And my dad sent us videos that the cows are out
Nice.
on the street. So
Yeah.
country problems
Country
for
club.
sure in a hurricane.
But that doesn't stop us from the news.
No, it does not. And it doesn't
The crap
always.
keeps coming.
The news keeps coming, the craziness, chaos keeps coming. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if there's a Cat 4 hurricane or not,
Yeah.
apparently.
Nope.
Um, so starting us off in local news,
Cool
what
news.
we have, how many days left? 8 days left to
Uh,
register.
well, till the 7th, October 7th. So yeah.
October 7th. Okay, so 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days. Friends, if you are not registered, I beg you and plead with you,
Go
make
get
sure
ready.
you're registered to vote. Even if you think you are registered to vote, get on there, double check your address, your info.
Yeah.
This is super important to make sure that this is all up to date and ready for you to go in and vote.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to early vote so that there's no problems on the day of, because I feel like there will be something.
Always.
Always something. They'll try to
Especially,
do something to make it where we don't get to vote on our Tuesday.
yes, because what we were just talking about is this is so crazy of an election cycle. And
Yeah.
I think it's just continued from the last 4 years, but it's even more ramped up. Like just the stuff that's coming out in the news, the division of so many people and families, and just the underlying yuckiness that's just really good versus evil at this point is just wild that we're to this point
For
with
sure.
with all of this.
Yeah, so locally, I saw
Yeah,
that locally the our local
ballot.
town put up the ballot. So the ballot is there if you want to go check it out. You can see it on the Election Commission Facebook page, and it's
Yes.
been shared all over the place. Or you can just log on to the Hamlin County site and see it.
Yes,
But
and
we
we can
will encourage
probably.
you. Good.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say we can screenshot it and even
Yeah.
we'll put it up on our socials so that
Yes.
way you guys can see
You
it
can
too.
know. But we are encouraging you to write in Nate Dressel for state representative instead of Rick Eldridge. We would love it if you did that.
Yes, District 10. He is
District
District
10.
10 state representative. For sure do a write-in for Nate Dressel, Dressel.
Yes. And
Oh,
that's 90% of Hamlin County and all of Granger County.
correct.
So
Yes,
we'd love it if you wrote him in. Just,
absolutely.
that'd be awesome.
So good. We definitely need everybody registered, registering family and friends, checking that you are registered correctly and all of it is set and ready to go. Specifically, again, for early voting. Again,
And
we
for
just,
college kids. If you have college kids,
yes.
they can register where they are
Mhm.
and do it all there, or they can register at home, but then they will have to vote in person if they
Okay,
register at home and online.
perfect. Okay. I mean, I think that's really all we had local.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Not too much craziness
No.
going on local, which I will completely take it.
Yes.
Um, what we should probably start out, I think this is a pretty good spot to start out with RFK Jr. If you want to share what the latest is
Yeah.
as far as everything in the news, RFK
It's
Jr.
so sad because Kennedy, he was kind of brought in and it gave some integrity to the race, for all the people that are anti-Trump and the people that were definitely anti-Kamala or Biden or whatever.
Right.
Um, that's one thing you could say about Kennedy is his integrity for the process and for the what he's focused on, like his health and all that is so high. So he was brought in, and that kind of gave it that level of integrity.
Right?
Yeah, it just like solidified it like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
And then, just like that integrity was just back to
Yeah.
zero. And now it's like you're starting all over again if you aren't watching. He ended up getting very attacked or whatever by this journalist,
Yes.
sending horrible, pretty much porn to him, stuff like that. He tried to block it. He tried to, stay away from it. And then just, it just
It
didn't
was
end up.
getting drawn back in for
Yeah.
whatever reason, whether, I did read a lot of the reports were talking about how she would pull him back in saying, hey, there's going to be a hit piece on
Yeah.
you, or this lie of a piece of news is coming out. Do you want to comment? And it would kind of like he would unblock the news reporter to figure out what was going on. And then she would bombard him again with
Yeah.
like all of these extremely explicit images and details. And so, with all of that being said, which again, he should have just put a complete stop. He could have blown it out on
Yeah.
social, out in the open, like said what this is what is happening to him, that she is doing this, curating this. Um, again, we can only speculate as
Yeah.
to why he didn't do that. If it was me, I would be sitting here saying it's hard because when you put that out there, then of course there's going to be questioning to you, right? Like, how far did you allow this to
Yeah.
go? What's the response and the back and forth?
I think
Um,
also it's worth saying these journalists, if you could call it that, they're in for the long game. And
yes,
she solidified her friendship and her trust and all that with people like Kennedy, like House and Habit, for a
yeah,
solid year of giving them
yes,
information, doing good articles, like really kind of being on their side to where they let their guard down and
correct.
got a little more trusting. And so there's that part of you that thinks like, well, maybe he just didn't want to ruin other relationships, but regardless, he was stupid, she was horrible. And
For
it's just
and on her end, it was definitely a targeted long game
100%, yeah.
because
And the reason I
her,
say it's a long game is she's not been fired.
well, exactly. She works for New York Magazine and
Yeah,
she's not been fired. And
yeah,
again, like I'm going to sit here and speculate. I'm a female. I can do that all day long
yeah,
because has she slept with all of her bosses and producers and has something on them too? Because any other male or female investigative journalist would
yeah,
have been fired in 5 seconds
yeah,
because it does matter, excuse me, it does matter how you get a story. It does matter ethically
yeah,
and being responsible with that,
right.
how you get your information,
Yeah.
so you can't just have your cake and eat it too,
And
both
why
ways.
would you want that to be your reputation?
It
And I
makes
mean,
me,
I don't know why she would have thought it would not have eventually come out.
well, because now no one is going to trust her.
Mhm.
No one is going to want anything to do with her or any kind of close proximity at all.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know
yeah,
where she's going to work or what story she's going to do at this point,
yeah.
you know?
And then it forced, 35 days before an election for this
Yes.
spin out of let's manage this whole nightmare of a mess instead of focusing on what's important.
Right. And I think that's the hard part is on the other side of things, is RFK sitting here thinking, I don't want to give any light to it, any, clout, whatever. I just want to stay focused on my mission
Yeah.
and try not to have any of the spotlight go over to that. But it's inevitable. I mean, with the media being as biased as they are,
You got to get ahead of it.
yeah, you just do at this
Yeah.
point. So that's happened, but we definitely know that this is a trend. This is nothing new with the media, that they are targeting the right, conservatives, whatever you want to say. Because again, this happened to Kennedy this week. This also happened to Mark Robinson this week. And for those who don't know who he is the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He is fantastic. I'm talking like excellent family man, super Christian conservative, very outspoken, just speaks truth no matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
And he is now running for North Carolina's governor position. It's a very, I wouldn't say tight race, but it's close enough where CNN put out a hit piece on Mark Robinson, saying that he has ties to all of these different forums that are connected to, pornography and things like this. And at first, he just denied it, said it's not true. CNN kept pushing it to the point where they have now hired a full on legal team to go and sue CNN because it is a complete hit piece. I honestly do not believe it for 1 second. And just because too, like when you're like around somebody or you hear somebody for such a long time and you can just feel their energy and like really tell when somebody's a good person versus like they have underlying things that they want to do. And that is so not Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, he always goes out of his way tell anybody that reaches out to him. We've experienced that ourselves when we lived in Clayton, North Carolina. So CNN's in for like a Nick Sandman round 2, I think, because
It's just so sad.
put something out like that and ruin a family is just beyond irreprehensible, in my opinion.
Yeah, bad journalism for sure.
Yeah, it just continues,
And then you wonder, like, why do we even trust him anymore? I mean, we don't, but
we don't. A
yeah,
ton of people, which is mind blowing, still trust
yeah,
just like the one source.
yeah.
Like
And then
why?
look at things. I mean, like the Oprah interview. So many people
Yeah, we have to.
would trust Oprah. You know, it's like she's, America. That's Oprah. Like everyone would trust that, and
Yeah.
eh,
Well, because she was an excellent journalist. Like
back in the day, yeah,
oh my gosh, she ran a primetime television show with top ratings for what, 20 plus years?
yeah, a
I'm
long time.
it She had Trump on there numerous times. She interviewed world leaders and, all of these different plethoras of people, and it was very good, intentional journalism.
Yeah,
And how far she's fallen to be now interviewing Meghan Markle
ugh,
and the prince, which who freaking cares? And then this, I don't even know if you can call it an interview with Kamala because it was so painful.
yeah.
Like,
I didn't even
did,
watch the whole thing. I just because I was out of town at the beach, I was like, I'm not messing with
yes,
that. I saw a few little clips, and I was just like, this is painful.
it was. And if you could just, like, when the camera would just keep it on Oprah's face, it was empty because she knew it
Yeah,
was so painful.
yeah.
Like, the moments were so cringeworthy. She did her, word salad answers.
It's just so
Uh,
crazy when you start because we can wrap this like we're going to tie in a bunch including Oprah. How
yes.
many celebrities, big
Mm,
names like that get wrapped up in
yeah.
doing things that you wonder, like, deep down, does she really agree with all this stuff, or is it just enough to maintain her status? Like they are only voting and supporting and doing that for the exchange of a status. All of them, I feel
Like,
like,
we know
yeah,
Hollywood, the elite,
yeah.
like
They
those people at
compromise
the
their
very
principles.
top,
Yeah.
they have either given a lot to be there
Yeah.
and then they have to give up a lot to stay there.
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what I
they've
mean?
given up all their principles
Yes.
for status and eliteness,
Yes.
and they got to be hollow inside.
Oh, well, I watched the Tucker Carlson Megyn Kelly interview, and she was saying, after she
Yes.
moderated that first presidential debate, all of Hollywood were inviting her to all of these parties. And
Yes.
at first she thought, okay, cool, let's give it a go and try it. She said 10 minutes into those parties, She was looking for the accountant of like who put the party together, just another normal person to
Yeah.
talk to because these people were so into
And
themselves,
high, the
hollow,
cocaine.
yeah,
Yeah.
doing drugs in the bathroom, all of the things that you can imagine
Yeah.
makes sense. And she
Yeah.
was like, I don't ever want to go to another Hollywood party as long as I live. I could
Yeah.
care less, you know.
It's just
Um,
so crazy. There's just so hollowness. I mean, when you list up Bieber, all those ones,
it's
it's
terrible,
terrible. And
you
so
know,
I
and
just
that,
wonder, like, the common everyday person
right.
doesn't look at Oprah and think like she's a god. You know what I mean? Like she's
Yes.
just like so far from any of us. Who's even listening to her?
I think that's why it's so hard for me there because there's a difference, right? In, for example, I like Morgan Wallen,
Yeah.
right? Love his music, listen to it all the time, went to a concert. It was fun. But the buck stops there. Like, I don't think he hung the moon. I
No.
don't
I'm not taking
care.
voting
No, I don't
from him.
care who he's voting for.
No.
Would I be like, yeah, go Morgan if he comes out and said Trump? Sure, but I'm not putting any weight.
And to me, I'm like, why would you ruin your business and your thing by doing that?
Yes. And I'm not that invested
Mm-mm.
in what he does 24/7, what he
No.
wears, what he buys, I just don't understand the phenomenon. Same thing with Taylor Swift. When people are, again, you can like the music. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying, or think she's funny or whatever. But when she says, I'm voting for Harris, I'm like,
I
you're
feel
an
like
idiot.
she's talking to 13 to 16-year-old girls. They're not
She
voting. They
That's her
don't care.
target market,
Yeah.
right? Like that's her target demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't even vote.
And they're
And
not swaying their parents. Like,
no,
Mom, Taylor said to vote for them. Okay. You know
yeah,
what? Yeah.
but even too, when you get to be that big and your ticket prices, because don't I mean, yes, again, like my daughter loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And so we were looking for tickets. $2,500 for a nosebleed ticket for one.
Wow.
No, like, no, just no. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And so all of that to
It just
say,
shows how out of touch she is to what the American people are suffering with
yeah.
financially in
And
this economy.
again, I'm not going to knock the fact that she treats her employees well. Great. I think everybody should. Like, fantastic. You give the truckers that drive all of your stuff around
But
for your
that's just
tour.
being a good person. That doesn't sway people.
Exactly.
Everybody should be good people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, everybody should not be like, oh, I am the singer or I'm the whatever, and I'm up here and you're way down here. Like, no, that's just like you said, being the difference, just being a good human.
Yeah.
But to have any weight swayed in my direction because she says she's voting for whoever, I don't care.
No.
And why we think these celebrities and why people put them so high up on pedestals is bizarre to me.
But it explains why politicians put them
Yes,
so high up. So if we
that's
hit
it.
on Diddy and
Speak it.
Jay-Z and Beyonce and Usher
Yeah,
and Pink and all these ones, those politicians need them just like
correct.
those people need those politicians. Those politicians are doing whatever this big money is telling them to do
That's
in
right.
exchange for votes to get there.
That's
And I mean,
it.
that's why I've had lots of people who are like, I'm not putting together why Diddy and politics, why you've melded them together. Like, why are you even talking about both of them? And I'm like, what? What? How are you not seeing this? Every single person is
Yes.
dirty because of how they've involved themselves with Diddy. Like, this is not,
Unpack this because
yeah.
here it is. It's truly Epstein 2.0.
Oh, it's probably
And
worse.
just a different set of names, right? Or maybe it's a different set of names. Maybe it's not a different
Well,
set of names.
I think who he abused is a different set of names. Like who his
Yes,
target, I mean, his target was Bieber and
correct.
and the people in the industry that they groomed to be their
Groomed as
people.
growing up. I mean, you're talking, this is like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
No ordeal is in with this. And so here we are, starting at the top, or like the first person, right? We've got Diddy, who is obviously responsible to a large extent as to what's going on. Like there's all of these videos that are going to come out, or that they've taken from his home about all the horrific sexual,
Yeah.
deviant, terrible, terrible things that he's done to women, female, male. I mean, nothing has been like skipped over from what we have read.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're finding over 1,000 bottles of Johnson and Johnson
You see
baby
Costco
lotion.
filed charges last night.
It's so
So gross.
gross.
But also, there's the people that are like, "Oh, I love Diddy. He was so great." There's this Eminem and Bieber, they have been putting out this information right into where our
Yes.
kids are singing it. Maybe not
Yes.
my kids, but like we were singing. Like like we were singing those words where it was just literally written out in lyrics what Diddy was doing.
Yeah.
And nobody thought
I
anything.
mean, when it literally says, ain't no party like a Diddy party.
I did all this to get a Lamborghini. Like what?
What?
Like he's
Oh
literally
God,
saying this is
thankful.
what I did and now I'm stuck in here. I bought my way in. I'm out. Like
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure
I think
Kanye.
too, it's sad to an extent because number one, they're putting this out in our face like this is what's happened
Yeah.
or what's happened to us. And then on the flip side, you've got people like Diddy and his crew that are doing these horrible things, and it's still out in your open, like almost smack in the face to us, like, hey, we're doing all of these things behind closed doors. We're basically singing, rapping, and telling you to an extent what's going on. You're freaking buying our music and
Yeah.
just continuing to fund this.
Yeah. And then they
And
wonder why people like Kanye and Bieber and Britney Spears are
yeah,
mental cases, essentially.
oh, we would be the
Like
same.
abusers create abusers, or abusers create victims that are so traumatized they never come
Yeah,
out of it. Miley
yes.
Cyrus. I mean, if you start going down the list, and the sad thing is, probably 100% of them, a parent put him in that position.
Correct. I mean, for a fact, Bieber's parents just legit threw him to the wolves.
And
Like there is no
sold
other,
him to that. Yeah.
yeah, which is so sad within itself. But then when you start breaking this down, and now they're to the point, so to tie in, how is Diddy and politics correlated? Well, first of all, they're going to start pulling all of this money, the money trail. We say this all the time, follow the money. This is not difficult. So you've got the fact that he paid in millions to the DNC starting back in 2016
Yeah.
when Hillary Clinton was running. You can find videos everywhere that he is buddy buddy with the Obamas. He is buddy buddy with the Clintons. He even spoke at the DNC.
But it's because he has video and
Oh,
he's got so much proof of
yes.
all of them being at his stuff that they need to keep him happy. So in the next week, this week, you are going to
Oh, for
see
sure.
celebrity endorsements out the
Mhm.
wazoo,
And
like
I think they're going to be
obnoxious
random.
amounts.
Yeah, like random ones of people that really haven't spoken out or said much.
Like Willie
And they're
Nelson.
just, yeah, they're just going to start name dropping.
Yes.
I mean,
Or the other thing is, and this is what conservatives are good at. This is what we're good
yeah,
at. They're good at it in secret. We're good at it in public. Is
yeah,
there are people that's main jobs are just to screenshot and save things that go on the internet that then get taken down. And we
yep,
use it against them later. We are so good
correct.
at this. Like this
Yes,
is our wheelhouse.
yes.
And that's why you're seeing these celebrities completely
White.
erasing and wiping clean
Yes.
complete accounts like Pink and
Yep.
Usher,
Usher. Yeah.
like so
And
many.
LeBron James is supposed to be BFF with Diddy. Nothing. Not
Nothing.
one word on socials. Nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, so
Why would, if this happened, they knew there's no reason. Most people would want to be like, turn on him, be like, oh my gosh, we can't believe we were friends with him. We weren't
yes.
involved, blah, blah, blah. They're saying nothing.
Nothing.
which
Or in the
means
other, and flip it on the other side too. If he was this great person that people
yes,
like LeBron, and all these people are best friends with, wouldn't they be coming to his aid? This is a lie. He's not like that. He was set up. This is not who
exactly.
he is. Again, zilcho nada.
What that
No.
that means that it's what's that called when it's like they're all in scrambling. They're all scrambling trying to figure
Oh
out
yeah.
how they're going to keep their name out of it. What do they need to do? Who do they need to pay? Who do they need
Yep.
to get involved
Yep.
with to keep their names out of it? So things like the mayor of New York City
Ding
coming up
ding.
on indictment charges. They're saying he's being indicted. Even the conservatives, which irritates me because they're not paying attention. The conservatives are
Yeah.
like, he's being indicted because he finally stood up about the immigration situation
Right.
in New York
Right.
City. Nah,
Yeah.
he's no innocent. Don't be feeling bad for him.
No, no, no.
They're indicting
This
him
was bought and paid for before. And
before.
again, we can play devil's advocate on that too. Maybe he is some odd getting a conscience, having an epiphany, whatever, about the immigration being overloaded. Maybe. But it doesn't negate the fact that he took the money to begin with
Yep,
to be propped up and put in this position. And then they hold the money over his head, or
yep.
whoever it is that they do this to. And they're like, you vote the way we want, you say what we want. And if you stray over any line, dude, you're done.
Yeah, and
And
then
that
what do they put up? Oh, just a reminder, you gave P. Diddy the key to the city.
So that's very strange.
Yeah,
Like, and again, that why out of all of the celebrities, out of all of the artists, Diddy, like, I don't see Diddy doing some like grandiose list of awesomeness for the city of New York
no.
where he even gets a key to the city,
No, and
you
it's
know?
all a game. I mean, if you follow, well, any of that MK Ultra, any of that stuff,
Oh,
that's a whole nother thing. I
yeah.
saw that girl named Blake did a whole thing on it yesterday. I was like, oh, I can't,
Yes.
I know it all. I can't go there. But
No, I can't
I was like, oh, I need
revisit
a break
this.
from that. But if you follow all that, Beyonce and Jay-Z are at the top of this pyramid of
Right.
eliteness. They're at the top. And
Yeah.
so pretty much their movements you can follow and figure out who's going down next or who's,
Yes.
you
Well,
know.
and it just said too, it's very telling how on Instagram overnight, Jay-Z and Beyonce lost over 4 million
Which is
followers.
insane. I would have liked to have, yeah, I would have liked to have gotten them.
Yeah, you want to
Come
come and
get
add
us.
conservative moms unfiltered. Come friend us. Come follow.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we will
Speak
bring
some
you
truth
into
into
the
you.
fold. Yes. But it's wild that stuff like that happens overnight because people do not want to be associated with them,
Yes.
like in any form, shape, fashion, whatever. And so it's going to be very, very telling over the next few weeks. What
Yeah.
are we 39 days
Yeah. It's
away?
interesting. I was watching because I knew this was happening. I'm like, let's start watching the fallout. This is how you watch the fallout. This is when people
Oh,
leave
okay, okay,
CNN
okay.
and they leave here. So you start watching, and I saw that Hoda is leaving the Today Show.
All that.
And I was like, oh, this is bad timing. You should not be doing that unless you're involved with Diddy somehow.
Yes. And who knows at this point? Hopefully not.
I
Hopefully
mean, I
Hoda.
feel like that was just a fluke because
Yeah.
I want to feel the best for Hoda, but also
Yeah.
like it's hard not to question when you're, this
You
deep.
start seeing people leave or drop out and things like that.
Yes.
I mean, I even saw a thing where this TikToker was investigating the whole Diddy ordeal. I think it was over a year and a half ago. And then all of a sudden, she was 39 years old and she just
Died. She just
kicked the
died.
bucket.
Oh, can we not say
Yeah.
that? Eh.
Yeah, whatever. Unalived.
Unalived. I was like, oh my gosh.
Stuff
Oh
like
my
that
goodness
makes
gracious.
you question even his, and then we'll move on, but even his ex-wife, Kim Porter,
Oh yeah.
she was all has
He
is the
was
mother.
young. Yeah.
She was not even 40 yet. I think
Yeah.
she was 39
Yeah, I think she was
and died
39.
of pneumonia. Died of pneumonia at
At 39.
39. And she
Non-smoker.
healthy. She was a model,
Yeah.
like a mom. She had children. She was
Yeah.
little
A little
strange.
sketchy there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know how we go from Diddy
Celebrities.
to Zelensky
I mean, he
and
thinks he's a celebrity, so I guess it works.
well, well, my gosh, the current administration has given him celebrity status.
And he
Well,
was like a dancer and everything, wasn't he?
oh my gosh, it just makes you
He
want to
just makes
throw
me
away.
want to vomit.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just the
he has
cringe and
multiple houses in multiple cities. He has this like 40-foot yacht. I mean, I'm very confused how your country is under siege and
that's
in
what I
this
was just
like
gonna say, but you get to
giant
vacation.
war, but you are here in America, like campaigning for Harris.
Which I mean, isn't that like election interference? Because
I
are
thought
you like
so.
trying to fear like if Trump wins, Zelensky could bomb us? Because he has every single thing that we've given him. And then to be autographing bombs that you're and
I
the
was
mayor and the governor signed them
mortified.
too. I was like,
Yeah, say that again for everybody, like what just
they
happened.
did like a press thing, release thing, and they showed him they had all these bombs
Yes,
that they were going to use in the Ukraine war towards
yes,
Russia, right? And
yes.
the mayor or the governor of
Of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania and Zelensky autographed them on camera.
Like so excited to autograph warheads
I was
that we
like,
are
this is
going
not a
to
time
drop
capsule. This is going
on
to kill
people.
people. And this is
And
not
the
a time capsule.
governor of Pennsylvania is doing it with a smile on his face.
I mean,
Like,
it was like they clapped and everything.
I'm just like, wait a minute. And aren't isn't the left supposed to be like the no
Anti-war?
war, no war? But then you're over here signing warheads?
But let's go back to election interference. Like this is
Yes.
almost a fear tactic. Like he's on our side. We're giving him missiles and bombs.
Oh,
You better vote this way.
because it's all a money pit. We already know this. Money is being funneled through Ukraine like nobody's
Well,
business.
8 billion, they signed this week, 8 billion more to go to Ukraine. Joe Biden signed it.
So here, Zelensky comes over here, is campaigning for the left. Obviously, when he's signing warheads with the left, governor of Pennsylvania, he's, rooting for Harris. And then magically 3 days later, Biden signs a Ukraine financial package to send $8 billion over there. What else do you say aside from election interference? Because again, this is what they do.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, the war complex, like the war machine, all of these people, I'm going to say it, the freaking Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, they are all in this.
Yeah.
They're all lining their pockets. Anytime there's a war, they freaking love it.
Yep.
And if you notice, anytime there's a war, those families get richer.
Yeah, they do.
Period.
Did you see yesterday during this meeting, and I think it had to do with something with this, that Jill Biden sat in
Yes, on the cabinet meeting.
on the cabinet meeting
cabinet
regarding this, and I'm like, shouldn't that be Kamala sitting in there if Biden couldn't make it? Why is his wife? Could you imagine Melania or Nancy Bush or no, Nancy?
They would tear them alive on CNN or any media outlet.
For even being in the room.
Running the cabinet meeting.
But I was so confused.
It makes no sense. I'm just mind blown. But when you've got Zelensky campaigning for this side, because he knows we want the money. We want to keep pushing this. We want to keep lining our pockets. This is good, that Ukraine is gaining all of this sympathy and, this kind of thing. Versus, sure, did he go and meet with Trump? Yeah, was it yesterday?
Yesterday, and to talk about
ending
this war.
And
so
I honestly just think that was to save face. He doesn't want to end this war. He doesn't want to stop the money coming in, but he does know he has to play both sides at this point.
He does, because if Trump wins, he's going to answer to him and he's going to lose it all. So he needs to have those relationships secured a little bit. Although I think that Trump is playing 3D chess, not checkers. So he's totally playing Zelensky.
I think so too. think so too. I mean, you've got, how do we go again? Zelensky endorsing the left. The IRS is endorsing Harris,
That is
which,
the worst endorsement on the planet. That would be
okay,
like
cool.
that would be like
Yeah.
Kennedy being endorsed by the vaccine by Pfizer.
Yes. Total equivalent.
Yeah, like why is the IRS even backing someone? You work for the American people.
Isn't this supposed to be checks and balances? Aren't you supposed to be neutral?
Yeah, I'm like the IRS, the military, like these people should not be endorsing
A government
anybody.
entity shouldn't even be allowed
No,
to
private
endorse
entities
a
can do
candidate.
this. Public servants? What are we doing? What are we
I
doing?
mean, okay, sure. So these 86,000 more IRS agents that they've hired, make no mistake, who continue to come after the middle class,
The small business owners.
small business, are now saying that they endorse Kamala. Great.
Great.
So we know we're definitely going to be targeted
Yeah.
if that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. And then also we had this week, we say this all the time. The amount of things,
It's
events, whatever that have happened or that continue to happen in 1 week
yeah.
is like what on a normal calendar year would probably happen in like, I
A
don't know,
year?
at least 6 months,
Yeah.
max a quarter. But to have this stuff happening on a weekly basis,
So we're 10 weeks in and we have more than an hour's worth of content every week.
it's wild.
And we usually are like, let's save that for next week and we don't get to it.
And we can't
Yeah.
because something else pops up.
Yeah.
Just like RFK Jr., Dr. Casey Means, Alex Clark,
Yeah.
all of these people. Senator Johnson held, and it was a bipartisan roundtable this week to discuss health and the war, on our children, why everybody's getting so sick, all of the things. It was amazing. The amount of content that was spoken about in 4 hours
It
from
was real good.
all of these experts was phenomenal. But then, thank you, media, biased media. You have the Atlantic, whose headline was "The Woo Woo Caucus Meets." What? What?
Sorry, we just want our children healthy, but feel free to call us woo woo. I'll take it. See,
Cool. Yeah, we need a hat now that says Woo Woo Clan. I mean, I don't know. Like, what is so wrong? I think this is so difficult for me to understand why people, especially more parents, aren't dying on this hill of we don't want our kids to be sick. We don't want big food and big pharma collaborating to poison our children.
Yeah.
What is so wrong about that? Why at a minimum can both sides,
Yeah.
not agree on this?
Yeah. It just blows my mind. Like, just blows my mind.
I mean, they even, I don't know her real name, but the food babe,
Yeah.
not the like
I don't
influencer,
know her name either.
she held up in the round table, took Fruit Loops, bag of Kellogg's Fruit Loops, and held up the bag that came out of Canada versus the bag that was in America. And it's two totally different cereals.
Yeah, ours is colorful and so pretty,
Yes.
and theirs is just brown.
Like, what? Why? Why are the foods, we could go on and on. Why are the foods in Europe banned, but we eat them every day, or they're in all of the things in America?
That definitely is a hill I'm dying on.
I know it is. And it's so hard. And I think that's why you and I both can agree to small government. But that is one thing as a mom I will take some help on.
Yeah.
Okay. It is exhausting fighting this battle with my kids constantly. Well, so and so had red Gatorade. Why can't I? And now I'm to the point where I'm like, because as your mom, I cannot give you something where you're going to get cancer and die.
Yeah.
What else do I say to that?
I'm so old. My kids are grown, and they've that's how they grew up. That's all they know. And I'm not saying like for Jet's birthday, someone gave him Takis. I'm not going to say you can't have those. One time in his life, I'm never going to buy those. But what comes into my home and what
Correct.
I'm paying for, is not going to be those things.
Yes. And that's why, we do what we can, we
Yeah.
make what we can, all of those things to kind of mitigate
What we
the
can't control.
birthday parties and the snacks after sports and all of those things. We can't ever be
No,
100%. We can't.
no.
We can't parent like that. We'd go insane,
Yeah.
But I would really love some help, I don't know, on just, hey,
Don't
maybe,
offer that stuff to our country.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like,
22,000 chemicals are banned in England or in the UK, but they're allowed here. 22,000?
wild.
Why are we allowing 22,000 man-made chemicals into our food and makeup and
Why are we
skincare?
allowing these not only chemicals, but then half of them are titled as carcinogens,
Yeah,
and then they're linked to all of these things. Just one, for example, you've got the whole ADD, ADHD. Can't get kids to sit still in school,
yeah.
but then you're giving them all this crap in their
Red dye
body that's
crap.
just hyping them up to the 10th degree,
Yeah.
and then we have no control over them, and then you want to give them medicine.
Well, then let's even take it a step farther. If you're in the hospital, you're in
Yeah,
the hospital and they're
make it make
giving
sense.
you horrendous items to eat. Horrendous.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
prison food.
yes.
Like you have a baby and the food they bring you afterwards is horrendous. You're
Like,
there for diabetes or a heart attack, and they're
but you
like,
can
here's
order
your red
a
Jello and
home.
your rice and your cookies. What are we doing? Where's the fruits and
Yes.
vegetables? Where's the
Yeah.
education? And it's just like, well, no, you can eat this and then just take a shot of this, or do this,
Oh,
you can take a Zempic and do this. What are we doing?
prime example. Prime example. Yesterday, Dr. Tyler and I were at a screening event, like a health and wellness
Yeah,
event. I'm not going to say where it was. But it was a great event. It was a great event. And we taught so many people about holistic care, which thank you, Jesus.
yeah.
But right across from us was a pharmacist set up giving out the vid vaccine and the flu vaccine.
Oh wow.
Number one, I felt so gross standing there.
Standing there, that's just that
I'm like,
shedding onto us. Yeah.
oh, it was, I like had to go home and like scrub my entire body.
Yeah.
But then also, they gave them these shots. Then they gave them juice and lollipops afterwards. So I'm going to flood your body with a bunch of chemicals. And then on top of that, here's a juice, a fake
What?
juice, like pumped full of sugar, and some red dye 40 lollipops. You're not going to get sick at all.
I'm going to be slathering pine oil on me all day today after just hearing that story.
Ew, it was
Just
so
gotta,
bad. Is that
just,
what I need to do? I have that. Is that what I need to do? Pine oil?
yes, pine oil, kind of mitigate the shedding of vaccines.
That's so good to know. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go take a shower in that
Yeah.
at this point. But
When
it
we were
was,
just at the beach, there's this one like lake that it's salt water because it's like fed from the ocean, but
yeah,
it's surrounded by pine trees and the pine needles fall in and pine needles are it's tannin.
yeah.
And so the water becomes so saturated in tannin that we all just got in there and laid in there.
We felt so good.
We're just gonna lay in there with the crabs and take in
That's
all the
so
tannins from the
good.
pine needles because we're going
That's
into that fall season where everyone's getting that stuff. So yeah,
yes.
I need people to wake up sooner than later.
Yeah.
There's just so much that it's all connected. The government is
Yes.
killing us with all this crap to fund the big pharma, to then
Yeah.
put into place the big celebrities that would then tell us what to do because we've loved them on the screen or on the music or whatever. And it's just this horrible cycle, and not one of those people are looking out for the American people.
Yes.
They're only looking out for themselves, and
Right.
we can't take that with us when we die.
No, and I think that goes along like that big picture. And then the underlying, I feel like why everything is so amplified right now and why, people are so divisive and people are so upset as to what's going on is the spiritual aspect of this really comes down to a good versus evil.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the presidency and all of those things you just mentioned, like celebrities and big food and big pharma, are all encompassed
Yeah.
in this spiritual battle. And so that's why for me, when I sit here and I hear about people voting for her, or people that can't come up with an original thought or can't get out of their bubble to say, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I need to look a little bit more into this. Like they just dig their heels in to where they're at. And to me, it just hurts my heart for those people because,
I agree.
I mean, morally, I have to question to some extent where you're at. Like, where does your faith lie? This is not me being mean to those people. It is me, like, my heart breaks for them because they don't get it yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, even
that it,
Tucker said that in his one interview. I can't remember who he was interviewing, and he said, when it comes down to it, the Christians, those that know the word and are right with the
yes,
Lord, are the only
yeah,
ones that are going to see this.
yeah,
Everyone else is looking at it as divisive in that, but it's actually good versus evil.
it
This is the
is.
devil at work.
And you hate that it's come out, in this way. And I definitely think the devil has taken advantage of this situation to try to like drive a wedge even
Yeah,
more, in between people and sides and things like that. And we can still be loving of all people as Christians. And I am not judging anybody.
right.
As a Christian, what I'm telling you is it is our job as Christians to speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable for people to hear,
Yeah.
even when it might sting for people to hear it,
But
you
we're
know?
called to do that. We're called
Yeah,
to do that. And it doesn't, I can't worry about your feelings and how you accept it because your
yeah,
discernment is lacking or you just are choosing to be shut off from truth. But it
yeah.
has to be said.
Well, because so many people, and for sure the left, they love staying in their bubble and like looking at the world through those rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
That's why you hear Kamala say so many like positive we're an optimistic people. We love this.
The
But
holistic approach. We're taking the holistic approach.
yeah, what? No.
No, we're
Yes,
not.
we're not. Like the world is not all lovey-dovey. Like
Mm-mm.
we have major issues happening in our world and in our country now that have to be addressed. It is not all rainbows and roses.
No. I read this thing yesterday and it said something like, some of you Christians are sitting at the tables that Jesus would have flipped.
Ooh,
And I was like,
yeah,
that is so true. We're sitting at tables that Jesus would have flipped and just accepting it because we want to be loving and we don't want to hurt feelings and we don't want
yeah.
to cause a rift or we don't want to cause conflict. So we're just going to sit there. We may not believe it, but we're saying not a word. And
And that,
sometimes that might be in our own family.
oh,
Like we've got to speak up because the evil is just
it's just so in your
sneaking in
face.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, and that's true. Like somebody told me even just last week, well, my Jesus is loving and kind and wants best for everybody, and my Jesus is uplifting and positive.
My Jesus flipped tables.
Yeah, dude, my Jesus sat there and spoke truth even when you might have not want to heard it, hear or didn't want to hear it, but it had to be said and we needed to hear it.
Yeah.
We have to learn these lessons and hear these things about ourselves all the time.
Yep.
But that is how we grow. And I think
Mhm.
that's what people forget when we don't have these political conversations, when we don't talk about what Jesus actually wants for us,
Yeah.
then what are we doing? We're not growing, we're not learning, and we're definitely not being an example for others, to step outside of their comfort zone and own a mistake or say, "Hey, I've changed my mind," or "Wow, you like influenced my, opinion,
Yeah.
in a good way, and I'm going to switch how I do these things." Like that's just growth. I mean, and that's what Jesus wanted for us. So when you get people just trying to shut that down with that positivity spin on it, that's not reality.
No.
That's the truth. That's not reality. You're not living in the real world, you know.
Yeah.
So wild times.
Yeah, I
Friend.
mean that was a lot, and I feel like every week we do this, and I feel like we gave people no hope. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to read one scripture that
Oh, good.
it's been my scriptures for the last
Okay,
couple weeks. I've just been like, this
good.
is what I'm going to think on because it's too much. We lose hope. Every
Yeah.
story that comes up, we feel like we lose hope. And it's Philippians 4:4. Of course, it says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Let your resemblance be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And I just go back to the Lord is at hand. Everything's
Yes.
falling apart. That doesn't look like there's hope. And maybe Trump won't win and it'll be World War III and it'll be all that. But the Lord is at hand and we don't have to be anxious because the peace of God, which surpasses all, is there. And so I'm like, I just have to keep going back to Philippians 4:4. Philippians 4:4.
I love all the memes too, that are like, here we go with our Christian friends to vote for Trump, even though we know like Christ is king,
Yeah.
his plan is the best. Like, of course, we all know these things,
Yes. But we're
but you do
still
hear
called as
those
Christians.
things.
God still calls us as
That's
Christians
it.
to take care of our families and to take care of our
Right.
children. And this is part of taking care of them. This is
Yes.
part of taking care of our future and our hope and all that is being involved.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Dude, that you crushed that ending of the podcast
This
today.
poor verse is like highlighted and circled and all the things. Like it's like
You need to laminate that page in your Bible
I
so
know,
we
and I do so much artwork in my Bible that the pages are always like I was like, well, at least I didn't do artwork on top of that verse.
so good. Okay, friend, we wrapped it up another week.
We
We're
did.
less than 40 days out
Yeah.
from election day. So till next time.
You should show your shirt real quick because we just see Trump's hair.
Oh, check this out, friends. Can you even Trumpkin?
Oh, we should right now. I should have grabbed the bag. We should have done
Oh,
a thing toward Frontier Coffee. Our
listen, I've got a bag. I've got a bag in my coffee thing. So
same.
I'll take a picture and send it in.
Yes, with your shirt, Trumpkin
Okay.
Spice. Go buy
Okay.
some coffee. Support
Yes.
Nate and his endeavors, and
Yes.
let us
Good
keep doing
call.
our
Okay.
podcast.
He needs to hire you full time because you just always come up with these ideas for him and the
He just
coffee.
hired someone that's really good at this, so we'll just feed our
Okay.
ideas to him.
Okay, perfect. All right, friends. We love you. We're praying for you. Till next time.
See ya.